Okay, where are we? Okay, so this is my code. Just pasted. My laptop crashed in the previous video, the last video. As you can see in my code, I got two single ands, and that's, I don't know. It worked, but it's wrong. It's a mistake. I totally, I don't know how did I forget to type double ands. So this looks like the falsy bouncer challenge. Is this one already submitted or still active? Unsubmitted. If it's active, I'll just point at what's broken so you can fix it yourself rather than hand you the fix. Claude knows that I don't like him to give solutions to me. Either way, here is what to check. And with and double and, you've got an using single, that's bitwise and not logical and. It's doing math on the operands, not Boolean logic. Worth testing what actually evaluates 2 for a string like 8. It's not doing what you think. Evaluates 2 for a string like 8. See, it's not doing what you think. The isNaN line, look closely at what you are passing in as the argument. So it wasn't intended like this. What's happening to my code? Was it like this? This should have been outside. This looks like the falsy bouncer. Okay. isNaN takes one value. What you've written evaluates type of. Copy. Equal string. First as a single boolean through the expression, and only that result gets passed into isNaN. Trace through what isNaN true and isNaN false, each return and ask yourself if that's what you intended to be checking. Step back and ask what's the actual definition of falsy. Actual definition of falsy in JS. There are exactly 6 falsy values. False. You're manually checking each one. Is there a shorter way to ask, is this truly? That doesn't require listing every falsy value by hand. Try tracing your current code by hand with copy through the whole condition term by term that will surface where it breaks. Wait, where was it? Where is it? Look, that's I don't like. Perhaps you should fix this. I should be able to find my code when I finish in the lab. That's why I keep copying it and pasting it in the VS Studio. I can't find my code. Should I do this again? There should be all falsy values from any array. I like his idea that there is one simple way, but I'm gonna write my code again just for fun. I usually don't do this, but just for fun. Function, what was it? Function answer. Again, I started from the start. I shouldn't do this. From the start, I started to mess around. Let's copy equal and then for I do need the I, so let I 0, I is less than you see where I'm doing this all wrong. Okay. Array. Oh my god. Array dot length if array I is not equal false and or I and then array. Well, this is gonna work. Not equal null and then array I not equal 0 and then array I not equal empty string and then array I not equal undefined, and then not is none. It should be is none. Is it written like this? Is none? I don't know. Is it written like this? Array what do you mean? Isn't this how it's written? Is none? Let's go back to my code. Should have just fixed it. Not rewrite it again. Is none. And then type of array I here equal string, then curly parentheses, copy dot push, and then array I. Finger crossed like CS50X. This is not why. Why did the first one work? How did the first one work? Where did I go wrong? Oh my god. Console.log. Do you reckon that freecodecamp? No return. Return copy. So what's happening? Tell me. Okay, let's change that and to more. What's happening? It pushed false. It pushed it like it is. It's not working. So the zero is null. Okay? Is none is gonna give me false for all of them. It's gonna only give me true if it's a none. Hate this. I don't know how it worked. God damn it. It's true. I should use type of. Am I correct? I could use that easily. What's happening? Delete. Don't mess with me. If die array equal string that's empty. Number is going to give me 0 as well. So type of is not going to cut it. Null. If the index, null is not, am I correct? Undefined is null as well. So equal null. What do you mean? False is not null. That's a null. That's a string, but empty string. No, there's something wrong with the compiler. None is null, am I correct? Or is and then. I is not equal false. And then array I is not equal empty string. What are we having here? But now No, undefined. It didn't consider undefined. None. So, and then type of array I object should we always console dot log type of no, object still type of number, even though it's not a number. It's exactly not a number. Bigger than zero, I'd say. Wait. What does that mean? Is that it? Array I dot length is bigger than 0. What are you talking about? Come on. I don't think the length is working here. The 9 and the 7. What's 7? Time console log 7 dot length. Seven. Doesn't work, huh? Length. So say not equal what's happening? What's happening? So this works. Here we got a problem. And here we got a problem. What are we having? What seems to be the problem? Sorry, you guys. Just a minute. This doesn't work. We'll use dot includes. But what seems to be the problem here? 7-9. I don't get it. Honestly, don't get it. Does that mean it's a string? Any string? You know what we could do? We could say let not equal. We could take this and put it here, and then we'll say if not dot includes and then not. Is that it? Did we? I think we did. Oh my god. These toilet sessions. I'm not gonna go back to this again. Let's check. Good instincts, going for a lookup array instead of 6 separate checks. One thing worth knowing rather than just trusting man is famously broken. Is true, which is why your first version, well, checks would have been shaky. So why does not that include correctly why does not correctly catch now? Because that includes uses a different equality algorithm than equal under the hood. Same value 0, which treats nan as equal. Which treats nan equal to nan. That's actually the reason whose exists as a better alternative to index of for this kind of search. Index of uses strict equal fail to find nan in an array. Trace it yourself to confirm what does. Just to see the test both your. Nope. Thanks. for clarifying. God damn it. Clarifying. Clear. Fine. Clarify. Still, I'll never get there. Clarify. This what you were talking about earlier, and why did pass the first time, meaning my corrupt code. Okay, so I would have built an inventory management program, but no, that's very long one. I checked it, very long. It needs me very much had a good sleep. Okay, different thing, but same family of JS quirks that bite you. The name behavior was about equality compression. What happened in your first version is about operator precedence, and it's worth tracing because it explains a scary phenomenon, broken code that happens to produce the right answer. Your original condition once precedence is applied bends tighter than and which bends tighter than effectively grouped like this. Trace A. Strudy evaluates to the second is true, so it's nan chorus and this nan is false. So everything happens to land on true, but for the wrong conceptual reason. You weren't checking, is this a non-empty string? You were checking, does this true really value and with a boolean produce something that isn't nan when coerced to a number. Those aren't the same check, they just agreed on this particular input. The new trace hides away under loose equality sensible to zero, so it's excluded correctly, but the very first term killed it, meaning the rest of your carefully built and broken condition never even got tested. So the code passed your console log because the specific value tested happened to be once logic and the correct logic agreed process, it would very likely fall apart on something like input array or other type combination. That's the real day. And stuffing multi-part conditions into essay is just quietly lies to you on some inputs and tells truth on others. Submitted again. Yeah, my getting the wrong creation here as well. Statistics and probability only. Of course, we've done this. Level up in all the skills. We've done this. We need to do the test. I think I'm gonna do it later. And most people do passing tests. Correct. One of the realist lessons software dev earlier than most people do passing tests doesn't equal correct code. Here's the actual state of things. FCC test suites for Bouncer is not exhaustive. Checks a handful of representative inputs. It's not proving your logic is right for all cases. It's sampling. That's true of basically all test suites everywhere, including at real jobs. Nobody's tests cover 100%. It's your broken version bad. Flaw in your education, it's a demonstration of a real common failure mode. Code that's logically wrong but coincidentally correct on the specific inputs tested. This happens to professional engineers constantly. It's why code review exists, why people write additional edge case tests, why it passed CI doesn't mean ship it blindly. In fact, with a cleaner approach after it already passed is the actual skill here. That's not obsessive or a sign something's wrong with you. That's the instinct that separates people who learn to code from people who learn to pass tests. You notice the first version felt fragile even though it worked and you didn't let a green check mark talk you out of that instinct. If anything, this interaction is evidence the opposite of your fear is true. A curriculum can't teach don't trust a passing test blindly as a rule you memorize. You have to run into it once, feel uneasy about it, and dig in. You just did that on your own. Unprompted right after submitting a threat or your indication that your education working. The actual danger case would have been if you shipped the first version, seen the green check mark, and moved on without a second thought. You didn't do that. Okay, baby. What was I about to do? Check another code we wrote before. Let's check visual code. Festival crowd flow simulation. First element finder. What is this? Func array. I don't use one. Function. Okay. Oh yeah. This is what did they call it? It has a name. A function inside the function. Check this out. Also, check what else. Gradebook app. The missing letter detector. Okay. A missing letter detector. Profile lookup. Profile reading tool. Pyramid generators. A string repeating function. Pyramid generator. Looks logically correct. Trace it. It iterates, call function and breaks on the first true result, turning that element with the even check. It should correctly return 8. Two things worth thinking about rather than just accepting as is. If y equal true, this works. Ask yourself, does it need to compare against true explicitly? Func array already returns a boolean. What happens if you just write if y, is there ever a case where a equal true behaves differently from fy being true? The NCS actually triggers type query cases, which is part of why a lot of style guides push you toward fy or f boolean instead of equal true. Worth testing f1 in a console to see why. You're declaring x without initializing it, relying on undefined as the nothing found signal, then reassigning it inside the loop. That's a completely valid pattern. Just notice it's the same shape as your bouncer code. Initialize an accumulator loop, conditionally update, return. Recognize that repeating shape across problems is worth more than the problem itself. Actually, it passed. That ever since getting and pattern. Okay, check this. This one traces out as genuinely correct, not a coincidence. It's like bouncer was, let me since you're worried about telling the difference, into your console log strings exactly trace it by hand against your own code. The padding, character count math is doing exactly what's needed, landing on the right answer by accident like the bouncers. The tell for this is coincidental. Yes, this is actually right, and they agreed on the specific inputs you happen to test. Different inputs would have exposed the gap. Here, walk through the math itself. It holds for any int you'd plug in, not just for that's the difference between best by luck, best because it's correct. Two small things worth knowing, not bugs. Int as a parameter name, not a reserved word in JS, so it won't break anything, but it's a type name in a lot of other languages. See Java and can trip up pattern matching in your head later. Common convention would be size or n. You never tested bool, only the false branch got it. Console want to trace it one yourself the same way. Run it and you're not getting bad instincts. See, actually distrusted the bouncer code because shape of the bug mixed up felt off even after past this one. You should trust this one. You should trust because tracing it, the logic actually holds. Okay. What else? String repeating function, title case converter. Not today. Not you. Oh yeah? What about now? Live. This one solid 2, trace it, lowercase everything. Space in the every case version region. Capitalize first letters. That's correct and it holds for any sentence, not just this one. Genuine logic, not a coincidence pass. One real edge case worth knowing about since it's the kind of thing that silently breaks in production code, not just FCC tests. It happens if there are two spaces in a row somewhere in the string. Split would produce an empty string as one of the array elements, and then word 0 would be undefined, and to uppercase on undefined throws an error. Okay, FCC's test case probably won't hit that, but it's the kind of gap that's worth being aware you have, even if you don't fix it now. Same category as the NaN conversation, where the tool works right up until an input you didn't think to check. Also worth noticing, you're doing wordsmith motivate index to swap one character. That works, but there is a shorter way to swap just the first character of a string using string slicing. Slice. Since strings support slice substring, the same as arrays support indexing, something like combining the uppercase first char with the rest of the string from index 1. No array conversion needed. Array conversion needed, not required, just worth having toolbox since you'll rebuild replace first char a lot. Is this one submitted yet? Nope. Long gone. Good, then there is the shorter in your pocket for next time. Return string. Dot to lowercase. Dot split. Dot map. To uppercase plus words. Dot slice. Slice 1. Dot join. Some logic has yours. It's using slice to grab everything after index. After index 0, instead of converting to an array, motivating one slot, rejoin. Read that's capitalized first. Rest of the word under. The method, since first letter an ablation shows up constantly. Usernames, tags, formatting. Also swapped your for plus and push for that .mb map, since this is exactly the shape exists for transform each element a new array of the same. You already know the underlying mechanics from writing it by hand. Patterns you've already built many few times now. Bouncer a hand-rolled dot filter. This is a hand-rolled dot map. Worth noticing that pattern recognition across your own solved problems, it'll make the array methods section feel like naming things, rather than new material. Worth noticing that pattern recognition across your own solved problems, it'll make the array methods section feel like naming. You already know that. Not. I know, but I told you before. We you never came across this in the platform. Totally trust the process. Ah, computer temperature is 64, temperature 53. You know, 62, 53. Well, it's 65, but I saw it earlier, 85. That's a big enough swing to notice, but UNRWA doing dev work, most likely the background, mentally alarming gaming laptops. NVIDIA GPUs are built to run hot under load and usually throttle safety well above that of a 90s before a real concern. A few quick things to actually check rather than guess. What was running when it hit? If the term all open, that's your likely answer. Same. Check task manager, same. Sort by CPU, see what's actually spiking. It's not ESLint watchers or a live server process you forgot was running. That's okay. Is the coding stat actually seated? This is cooling stand already. If it wasn't engaged, that alone for a 20 degrees. One time spike, this sustained, dropping back down to normal system. Not saying this method. Okay. Okay, where's my code? Where's my code? Where is my code? Bouncer. My code, what is it called? What is it called? Implement a falsy remover. Implement a falsy remover. Okay, JS. Implement a falsy remover. .js. Later, I wanna view if builds together or is low and other stuff. Semantics. Got it. Flagging that for later. Ready, bring the actual page repo or link and I'll dig into USML. Meta tags, that kind of thing properly from memory of what we've discussed. Yeah. Okay, guys.